Hi everyone, welcome along. Okay, today I'm going to be having a look at my preferred fire lighting kit. It's the one I use almost all the time, and it consists of three main parts. First thing is cotton pads. Secondly, petroleum jelly. In this instance here I'm using Vaseline, but any petroleum jelly will do. And just an ignition source to light it. I normally use a ferro rod and a striker. So I'll first go over how I use this, and then after then I'll go over why I use it. So the first thing I do is get one of these cotton pads. They're just like cotton makeup pads. You can get them anywhere. They come in a kind of a long cylindrical bag of maybe about 50 of them. And they're very cheap, which is good. First thing you do is you pull it apart. Get your petroleum jelly and a scoop of it into the inside of it. Don't be shy. And then just squeeze the two of them back together. And then you can get the top later and just sort of pull it apart again. I find that if you break it apart like that, it just takes a spark that little bit better. Next thing, just place it down, and now you're ready to light it. So now it's ready for a spark, and it should take a spark straight away, no problem whatsoever. I'll just turn this around so the sparks are going straight into that open exposed part of the cotton pad. And I normally just scrape a few shavings in there, and just as simple as that. The cotton takes the light very quick, and then the petroleum jelly is like your fuel source, and that keeps going. So you can adjust that as well, depending on how dry or how wet your sticks are. Today, yesterday was raining all day pretty much up here, so everything is soaking. These were about the driest kind of twigs I could get, and the bark of these is very, very damp, so it's going to be smoky. Yep, I'm going to move. So the next question is, why use something like cotton pads, petroleum jelly and a ferro rod to start a fire when you can just use something like a lighter or matches? Surely they do the same thing. In dry conditions, in dry, calm conditions, where everything lights nice and easy, a lighter or matches is perfectly fine. But if it's windy or it's anyway wet or damp, lighters and matches they're a bit hard to use, and you'll find that they don't light up as easy as you would expect them to, and the wind will blow out a lighter very quick, as will a match. With these cotton pads or cotton wool, you can substitute this for cotton wool either. I just find these are a lot handier and more compact and easier to stow away. But you can substitute it out for cotton wool if you want. These take a spark, no problem whatsoever. Whether it's windy or anything else. You put a spark from this onto this, and that is going to light. 99% of the time it's going to light. And once you put that petroleum jelly in there, it keeps it going. That's the thing that sustains the flame. And what's great about this is you can put as much petroleum jelly in there as you want. So if it's a very dry day and you've got very dry fire material like tinder and kindling, then you only have to put a little bit, just a wee bit of petroleum jelly, if any at all, to get that fire going. But the beauty of this is once it gets wet, once it gets windy, you can put a lot more petroleum jelly in there. You can adjust how long this thing's going to burn, and how much and how hot it's going to burn, and how big a flame. That's the versatility of this. So that's why I choose that over a lighter or matches. Now of course I do have a lighter in my backpack all the time just as a backup. I honestly never use it. I far prefer to use this method here of the cotton pads and Vaseline. I can be sure that that fire is going to go. There's a lighter, mucking about with a lighter. Sometimes it'll go, as I say, dry conditions, calm conditions, lighters no problem, matches no problem. So what's the best way to carry all this? Well, I'm going to tell you the way that I carry it or pack it away. Normally I have the wee cotton pads in a little tin. This tin is just a tin I got from Helicon Text. It's a fire starter tin. It had, when I bought it, it had a wee ferro rod, a couple of fuel tablets and a small piece of cotton wool in a sealed bag. I took out that cotton wool and I just use this for storing the cotton wool, and I keep that little ferro rod in there just really as a backup. It doesn't take up much room, but any kind of a wee tin really for putting your cotton wool into would be ideal. This is personally what I use, and it's important that that cotton wool stays dry. So what I do is I just have a wee plastic bag, any kind of bag really at all. If you can get a waterproof tin, that would be ideal, but this one isn't waterproof or watertight. So I just have a bag, wrap it around a few times, stick it in my pack. Vaseline, this tub is a bit bigger than really what you'd want, but what I normally do is I have a very big one and I just refill this one all the time. So once this empties, I get the bigger one, refill this again. This goes into my pack. You don't have to worry about this being watertight because it's petroleum jelly. And last but not least, your ferro rod and steel. Not much to say about that, you can put that anywhere, but generally I keep the three of those together, and where I normally put them is I stuff them into the top of my pack, the top pouch of my pack. You don't want to be putting these buried down at the bottom of your pack or anything, because you're going to be using these all the time, and normally you're going to be using it straight away if you set up camp, and if not straight away, pretty soon. And there's times also when you just want to get a fire going, to have a cup of tea or have something to eat or whatever, so it's good to have these things on the top of your pack for easy access. That's my preferred method. I'm sure there's plenty other good methods, and of course I didn't come up with this or anything. You know, it's not unique to me or nothing like that, but that's the one I use all the time. I just find that it saves a lot of faffing about and a lot of failed fire attempts. It avoids a lot of failed fire attempts. But again, back it up with matches later, whatever you want. And another good thing about this is there's no smells in your pack. So I used to sometimes in the winter time, I thought it would be a great idea to try like the fire lighters that you get for starting fire at home, and put them in, wrap them up in tin foil, put them in a Ziploc bag. I thought that'll keep the smell out, stuff them in my pack, and oh man, that smell permeated my pack for months after, you know. So that's the big advantage of this too. It's clean and there's no smell off it, and it lights fires good. Anyway, if you've watched this far, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.